What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS podcast and live stream recording here for a Wednesday's 12-game, game slate. James, currently we're showing 13 games, but we do believe that this 5:30 Dallas-Orlando game that was originally scheduled for 7 o'clock is going to be moved off of the slate. There's going to be some weather impacting the Florida-Orlando area. Come Wednesday, they're getting a potential hurricane in that area, so they've already made the decision, Orlando did, to move the start time of that game. DraftKings, as of now, still showing it on their slate, but it shows a start time of 7 p.m., but shows a start time for this game at 5:30. We're going to move along in this podcast, assuming that game gets removed, so we're not going to talk about Dallas-Orlando. If this game remains on the slate, obviously, we'll re-add it into the playbook for tomorrow. We'll be in the Discord for everybody to answer questions about it. It's Dallas. You play Luka. It's right. Orlando. Like, if Paolo Banchero doesn't play, Wendell Carter and Franz Wagner, you know who to play in these two teams. And again, if it does stay on the main slate, we'll re-add it into the content. But otherwise, for now, for the sake of this podcast and live stream, we're going to ignore the Dallas-Orlando side of this game, which is fine because 12 games is still a lot of games to talk about here. James and I talk about this a lot. When you have big slates like this, you have to go through and try to eliminate certain games and really sort of narrow down your player pool. We dealt with that on Monday with the 15-gamer. There was just so many games being played. There was a lot of players that did well. There was a lot of players who didn't. You got to try to figure out that section of games you want to be a part of. We talked about it on this podcast. The Pelicans-Pacers game was the highest game total on the board. They scored like 250 points in that game. Like, if you stacked it, you did pretty well for yourself there. We talked about Detroit and Oklahoma City on here. We loved SGA. He almost went for 60 at 9,400. We loved Cade Cunningham. Almost went for 50 at 7,700. So there are going to be games that we like. And then there are going to be games where we just cross off the board when it comes to this slate. So we'll break that down, obviously, as we go along. James, why don't we give a quick rundown of some of the point totals if you have them? I know, again, we're recording here on Tuesday. See if we can identify some of these games early on.
Yeah, so Denver, Indiana looks like a slate high, 235.5. Currently is a 5.5 point spread. The Pacers getting 5.5 at home. Brooklyn, New York, 223. Houston, Toronto, 223. It's a 9-point spread in favor of Toronto at home. Chicago are 1-point dogs at home in a 229.5. That's appealing. Spurs, Grizzlies, second highest on the board, 234.5. Spurs getting 6.5 points at home. A lot of games like Phoenix, Minnesota. We don't know. We don't know Lakers, Clippers.
Utah,
but we do
Atlanta,
know.
I'm sure.
What was that?
Utah, Atlanta. I bet we're probably not sure.
Utah, Atlanta. We do not have. Portland, Charlotte. We don't have. Detroit, Boston. We don't have. We do have Cleveland, Sacramento, 225.5. Kings getting 5. A lot of home teams getting points on this slate.
Yep, which could be
Oklahoma
good.
City, yeah.
Sometimes home teams keep it close there. So that's what we got. Again, another big slate. So a lot of top guys on here. Giannis, though questionable, at $12,400. More probable, I guess, than questionable. Jokic is at 11K, 11.6. Durant's at 11K. So we'll hit up these top price guys as we run along to it. We'll start at the point guard spot. Ja Morant is at $10,100. We saw him against Boston go for 60. Scored 30. Really took over that game in the second half. Boston was up big going into halftime, came out of it, and Memphis kind of blitzed them a bit there. He nearly triple-doubled, 38-9 in that game. I'm surprised for you to say that this Spurs game is actually kind of a closer point spread. I thought Memphis... Our initial opinions of San Antonio this year was that they weren't going to be very good, and yet they're out here being rather competitive in games.
Mm-hmm.
Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell are really playing well. But this is a fantastic spot for Ja if you're looking to spend up on the 10K. DeJounte Murray, if Trae Young doesn't play again at 96, would be another automatic play, I think, for us here, as well as sort of the top two guards. And, of course, you can always throw SGA in the mix, though I do worry about blowouts here, always with OKC against top-tier teams.
Yeah, Ja works against San Antonio. Great game environment there, obviously. San Antonio, very bad. Third highest team in pace, too. Very bad defensively, I should have said, because they apparently are going to be competitive. But they're 30th now. They've overtaken Detroit, 30th in defensive rating, third in pace. So love Ja, love DeJounte. Probably can't get to DeJounte if Trey plays at this price, but you can to be contrarian. So I'm going for 67 in that Knicks game.
3 straight games, 67, 61, 59 for him. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So like you can go there. You know, no one's gonna like.
But Trey has to be out. Like that was one of the Knicks game was where Trey left and got hurt. He ended up coming back in that game. The next 2 games were Trey out of the lineup completely. So.
Right. And then I'm probably not going to go SGA. I think Milwaukee's just too good defensively. You can if you want, but we just saw this. No coincidence that SGA had arguably his worst offensive game of the year. I mean, the only time he hasn't scored 28 points this year. The only time he hasn't scored 20 came in this spot. So that's probably a fade.
Again, De'Aaron Fox had a good game the other day against Golden State, but tough spot against Cleveland. I don't really want to challenge that one. Chalk play here will be FVV, Fred VanVleet against Houston with no Siakam. You called it out the other day. When Siakam's on the line, you just have to play this man. He went for 56 against Chicago, and then he ran it right back the next night when everybody on his team was horrible. VanVleet was not. Well, Gary Trent played well, but Fred VanVleet was that guy again, back-to-back games. Now you're going to tell me you get him at $8,100 against Houston? I'm gonna core play VanVleet here. Probably gonna end up being cover of the playbook, and he'll be pretty popular across the industry.
Yeah, I mean he's just the guy. It's a sample that dates back to last year. Like Siakam has become such a ball dominant player that it kind of takes away from VanVleet, I think, at times, and sometimes he just sits there and chucks a lot of threes. But when there's no Siakam, the ball is always in VanVleet's hand. So. You know, as much as people want to just like Scotty Barnes, I think we need to take a step back and realize that this is VanVleet's team when Siakam's not there. Maybe one day it will be Scotty Barnes' team. Obviously, he's a very talented dude, but like, I mean, dude, these numbers are coming against a pretty good test against Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso, and now he gets Houston, like a spot that we've feasted on for 2 years now. So
pretty much.
You're 100% right. And I think for what it's worth, I mean, he's $500 cheaper than Halliburton, right? Like Halliburton's a really good play because the game environment's really good and he looks great, even with Miles Turner back in the lineup doing things. I'm just going to save the 500 in almost every scenario. Yeah.
I mean, I think that those are 2 good pivots off of him, actually. I mean, again, I skipped over McCollum. McCollum's been great. You know, if you want to play McCollum instead of VanVleet, I think you can against Chicago. If you want to go Halliburton again instead of VanVleet, I think both those guys will go lower rostered because of it. And I think we might get some, and I don't know your take on it. Rozier let a lot of people down the other day.
Me included.
Yeah, he was 32% rostered in the tournaments that I was playing in, which is the 27 single. In that spot against Washington, it wasn't the minutes, and maybe this is something we need to start paying attention to. Look at the last 3 games he's been active for: 7 for 24, 9 for 24, 9 for 23. Dude is not hitting anything, right? Yep. We love the 25 shots. At some point, he's gonna go like 14 for 23 and just blow away a slate. You know, even in the 7 for 24, he got you 57 because he nearly triple doubled there. I think people will be off him again, and we know he's a GPP play, right? Like, any guy that's taking 25 shots, I want in a GPP lineup if I'm making a few of them, because if those shots drop for him, and a lot of them are threes, he could go for 40 actual right now. LaMelo Ball's out again. So, an interesting spot here to kind of bounce back from Rozier, especially when you're looking at, again, Kevin Porter at 78, coming off a monster game. Cade Cunningham, I have no problems going Cade against Boston, honestly. The way they're just playing tough against everybody. He's 75. There's a really good tier of plays here. I wonder if maybe Anthony Davis gets a rest day coming up with the way after LeBron.
They already ruled him. Him and LeBron are both probable.
All right. Well, we'll see how that plays out. But Westbrook off the bench, probably can't pay 73 for him off the bench. With Brunson at 71 against Brooklyn, like there's a really good 7K tier here, where I think guys like Rozier, Halliburton, McCollum may all go overlooked, because you're playing VanVleet or you're playing some of the other 7K guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. And we haven't even gotten to the below 7
Yeah.
One of our favorite players, still 6,900 for
Brunson was
reason.
just 3% against Minnesota the other day. Third straight 40 fantasy point game.
So consistent. He's just so consistent. I wonder if people like realize that. Yes, the Knicks gave him a contract because he's like actually really good. You know, it wasn't just like a fluke contract. Just like, oh, he didn't deserve that money.
Yeah.
He's not good. But like in reality, he is that dude. Like he is that good.
They moved Evan Fournier out of the starting lineup and they put Cam Reddish in there. Well, they have Quentin Grimes. And Grimes, I don't think is going to play again for this slate. But either way, Grimes or Reddish in the starting lineup. It just takes another guy that's like a shooter off the floor. And it just opens it up more. Randall has dominated the last 2 games. Yep. I was in on him again against Minnesota at very low rostership, and then Brunson's been has been really good as well. You mentioned under 7K guys. They didn't touch the price on Garland. Sacramento's playing competitive basketball with teams. This is a great spot for Garland. $6,900. 40 fantasy points the other day. Still giving you over 5x at that price. We've seen the ceiling of 62. I like him in cash gains for sure, and at this price again, I don't mind him in GPPs.
Yeah, Sacramento's bottom 10 in defensive rating and top 10 in pace. Elite spot.
Yep, elite spot for sure. What are your thoughts on Clarkson here? Just consistent.
If you pitched me all 3 Utah point guards, I would say okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Clarkson, been great. Mike Conley has been great.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin Sexton's been great. So, like, if you were to be like, I'm interested in all 3 of them, I'd say, okay, sure. Yeah. They're all going to play 28 plus minutes. And they would have all gone over 30 last game.
Right.
If not for the blowout. So, like, I like all of them. Like, I think you could probably play them all in cash, too. Like, if you wanted to play them all in cash games, like, Clarkson's been consistent enough. Conley's been great. And Sexton's the first person off the bench every game. So, I love all 3 Utah point guards here.
Yep, I'm with you there 100% on that one. They all play well. You get different pricing, so it kind of fits your builds. Under 6K, which guards? Obviously, you mentioned Sexton there, but which other guards are jumping off the page to you?
Hate the minutes for Brogdon, by the way.
Sure.
It's just like I don't understand what they're doing with his minutes, and I think it's
they had a different starting lineup for this game. They actually had White off the bench as well with Brogdon. They started Grant Williams, and they started Tatum at small forward, Brown at shooting guard, Smart at point guard, and Horford at center. So they went big, maybe because of the size of Memphis, but definitely something to watch the starting lineup here. If they go back to a lineup that starts Grant Williams, then Brogdon doesn't really have that guy to play over, I guess.
Yep.
And White, so that's something to key in on here.
So we'll obviously have to pay attention there because you just can't play him if he's not going to play 20 minutes, especially considering how his price is just ballooning. Josh Richardson back into, I guess, the good graces of Popovich, right? I don't know what this guy's doing, but 28 minutes, 8 for 11 shooting, 30 fantasy points. Don't hate it. I don't really like the value tier, though, John.
So Cam Thomas played 30 minutes again.
Yeah, just 5K just feels... I guess here's my thing.
Big price bump, obviously. Right?
Simmons was limited.
Yeah.
And they said 20 minutes. He only played 16. So, like, what? I guess
Simmons said he felt like he would be limited for the next couple of games. So
yeah, that could be true. And Yuta Watanabe is in, or Watanabe is in COVID protocol, I believe, or ankle. There's something wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another depth piece, and they could just use Simmons as a big guard. I guess Cam Thomas is fine.
John Wall at 27 and 28 minutes back-to-back games for him.
Yeah, you know what? John Wall's a great play. It's the Lakers. If we're gonna get 28 minutes, I'm definitely in there.
Yep, that's kind of
that's
what I'm looking at here. We liked Bones. Played 23 minutes, gave you 21 fantasy points. Again, kind of fringy, but
great spot.
Good GPP spot, I think.
Mm-hmm. We gotta monitor the Chris Paul thing.
Yes, campaign, obviously. Then, of course, if he's out, point guard Booker.
Yeah, point Booker. I know everyone will pivot to campaign, and I think that's fine. Minnesota just looks
Yeah, you
terrible,
play them both, obviously.
but you can play both, right? I think the easy pivot Payne will be really popular in cash, like really really popular. But we talk about it a lot. Like Devin Booker becomes their de facto point
Yeah.
guard.
He's point guard, shooting guard, but Andrew Nimbard has been starting. He played 34
Yes,
minutes.
Wild times.
Yeah, but he's $3,500. Aaron Holiday started in place of Trae Young. Played 25 minutes. He's played 20 minutes in each of the games Young has been out. We know what his limitations are. I'm just kind of mentioning because of the price and the fact that he's starting. But I got nothing else here for point guard.
Goran Dragic continues to be good.
Okay.
And if that's a 25 minutes last time against Toronto on a back-to-back, but 3,800. I don't think we need to go there. I think
20 plus in 4 or 5. So
just a mention, right?
Not bad.
A mention.
Yeah, not bad. All right, shooting guard. PG is against the Lakers here, 10-2. Do you think he can give us a top performance here? He's kind of let us down in 4 straight.
It's expensive too. Yeah. Tournaments only.
Okay. Donnie Mitch against Sacramento, probably fine. Everybody will play Booker at 9K if Paul is out. We don't ever really talk much about the Boston guys. Like Jaylen Brown, any interest?
He's been pretty consistent, but like I feel like we're in the exact same spot. Every time we mentioned Jaylen Brown last year, what did I say? I'm like, I don't know what the upside is with Tatum on the floor.
Need one out. Yeah.
8,400, like it just doesn't feel like there's like a ton of room for error, right? Sure. So, like he's fine. It's not my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's see here, going further down the list a little bit. Ingram was okay the other day, 7,900.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
12 or 24.
Like this is what I feel like Jaylen Brown's price should be.
79, yeah.
Yeah, why is he priced 84? Like him and Ingram have been eerily similar players.
Sure.
From a fantasy perspective. Like Jaylen Brown's averaging 40 fantasy points, Brandon Ingram's averaging 39.5. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's only $500, but that $500 freaking matters, man.
I agree. Vassell's at 65. We've talked about it. 34 minutes. So obviously, the minutes limit's off of him. So.
And he started.
So certainly run it back. Buddy Hield, I know you love this.
Dude.
Another 20 fantasy points. Price drop on Buddy Hield, 6,400.
It makes sense.
So I know that's your dude. Probably.
Wait, dude, but like what? Like at this point, like what are we not playing Buddy Hield for?
I agree. No idea. Let's see. Gary Trent, would you chase the points here with him?
Sorry, I just got my 37th text message about congressman in my area.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I get him all the time too. Gary Trent had a really big game against Chicago. Struggled the game before against Chicago.
Yeah, I mean it's Houston and there's no Siakam, so there will be the Gary Trent boom games. There will be the Gary Trent bust games.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate it.
Speaking of boom games, Royce O'Neal 40 fantasy points the other day. Played 41 minutes in that game.
I meant to text you and just say I give
just
up.
Give in. Yeah, you give in.
I just like this. If this is what it's gonna be. This is what it's going to be. 32 and 3 of 4. Like,
yep,
he's got to accept it.
Imagine if Utah utilized him like this. You know,
yeah.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, I guess
maybe
that's
they would have actually won a playoff round. Who knows?
Oof.
Lonnie Walker at 51. Too expensive or willing to play him?
Lonnie Walker. Yeah, he's off the. I think we just got Lonnie Walker. He's questionable.
Yeah. But he's been really good.
Yeah, he has been good. Yeah, probably.
Okay.
It's a tough spot. The only thing is it's a tough spot. Like, Clippers are very, very bad.
Okay.
Like, team to target because they play so slow.
Sure. Any other value shooting guards for you?
Guys that we already didn't mention, you know.
We talked KCP. We he's been okay. Like, just nothing overly special there, but giving you 20, 25 fantasy points.
Yeah. KCP, Terrence Mann if he starts again.
Sure.
Big price bump, but like double-digit points in 2 straight games, 30 minutes in 2 straight games, 26 or more fantasy points in both.
Yeah, where is this?
So,
oh, there he is, 41.
41. Yeah, much more expensive, but like reasonable.
Yep, I agree.
Probably. I mean, you mentioned
started. I don't know why though, but he started. Not that we want OKC here. Just
I'm not playing. I do like I'm just on these slates too. Like 13 games. Like I'm over it.
Yep.
I'm over them.
Okay.
Sorry.
Small forward.
Sorry.
No. Small forward. KD is 11K. Tatum's 10-3. KD you can play probably.
Yep. I'm pissed because I played Tatum against Memphis, and he gave me 39 points. Like nothing better than that.
Dude, he had,
for a guy averaging 7.5 rebounds and 4 assists, he gives you 3 rebounds.
He had 25 actual at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, he could have. I mean, there's, it's one of those like. I feel like getting him at 5% was such a good thing to have until he doesn't do anything else other than score. It's like, dude, what could have been?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit telling that Simmons came back and Durant only had 4 rebounds in that game. I don't know what Simmons had for rebounds, but
Durant. I mean, Simmons only played 16 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, you could be right. Like, just the fact that Simmons was there, like,
Ben Simmons also power forward only on this slate.
Interesting. 3 rebounds, but like maybe it just like moved him out of position, type of thing. I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily impacted him, considering it was only 16 minutes. But like, could have.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a trend we were seeing before. He leaves the lineup, and all of a sudden we're getting 8+ rebounds a night. So, maybe an opportunity for you prop bettors out there to take an under on a Durant rebound.
Sure.
Let's see here. Scotty Barnes and OG, you can run back with them against Houston. Toronto, Houston, blanket Saban, play them. They're in.
Yep. Well, mostly, I would say more Toronto side, right? Because
we like Jalen Green and Kevin Porter. You're gonna like Sengun.
Yeah, I like that. I like them in spots that aren't significantly like this slow.
Okay.
And Toronto 6th in defense. So like they have some like good things to like about their defense.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I probably will like them a little bit more as we like approach roster lock.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the pace down is crazy in this spot.
Right. Let's see here. Keldon at 73. Markin in at 76. Both guys.
We called Keldon boring. He scores 30 actual.
I know.
That's what he needs to get 42 fantasy points.
30 actual, I know. Just not active enough outside of everything else that's got going on there. Let's see. Would you play Porter at 65?
Great game environment.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Good spot for it.
Yep. Same thing with RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's been really, really good.
Yep.
40, 38, 38, 34 fantasy points last 4
I think getting Fournier out of that starting lineup, even though Fournier, like, he wasn't doing a lot, but, like, he is a shooter, right? He just changes the way I think teams sort of react, I think. So
agreed.
I like that spot, getting him out there. Any Bridges interest if they take Paul out of the lineup here?
Maybe. He's just such a low usage guy. I guess there's been, like, a little bit more. Like, he's every once in a while gives us 12 fantasy points. I don't... maybe because there's also no Cam Johnson. Like, just by default, they'll, like, need him to, like, step up. I think that Ayton's healthy. Craig's healthy. I mean... we might see, like, Shamet. We might see Damian Lee.
Sure.
So
Damian Lee would be pretty interesting for them.
Yeah, Damian Lee, 3,200.
Good scorer there. So
yeah. Played a bunch of minutes last game with the Chris Paul injury. 25. 28 and 25 the last 2 games, actually.
I like Damian Lee. What's he? Shooting guard, small forward eligible.
Yep. $3,200.
Could be a good value play there when it comes to needing it. Let's see. Any other small forwards for you? Let's go back to Jalen McDaniels. Did give us 29 fantasy points. Probably good on FanDuel. Probably good FanDuel play. Blocks and steals there, 5.
Yeah, yes. I agree, FanDuel. FanDuel specific. Joe Harris. 33 minutes, 6 of 10, John. You said he wasn't going to be bad forever.
Joe Harris. We talked about
Joe, 29 fantasy points. So.
I like it. That's a good spot.
42.
4,200. I like Joe Harris a lot. Let's see here.
Grant Williams did not take a shot in 37 minutes.
I know.
Like, I'm going, like,
That's not going to happen again, though.
I know it's not going to happen, but, like, that right there is what I'm talking about when, like, I was like, all right, I'm not playing zero floor guys.
Right.
That is the epitome of a guy that is just out there jogging up and down. Like, obviously, he's doing a lot.
It's weird that he didn't, like, he's shooting 53% from 3.
And he didn't take a single shot.
He didn't take a shot. Took 2 free throws at the end of the game. That's all he did.
It's terrible.
If he starts, I would
not. I'm out.
Okay, he's not going to not shoot it forever.
I know.
Let's see. Any other guys for you here?
I didn't see anything.
Who plays if McDermott's at? Who gets the 20 minutes?
Sohan.
Okay, just curious.
By the way, it's Sohan. I looked at I listened to the pronunciation. It's Sohan.
I'm just curious who it would be. All right, let's go.
That would be my guess. Man, Bates Diop, maybe.
Sure.
Langford.
Power forward. LeBron, Giannis, both of them are at the top. I would play LeBron after a rest day. I don't have a problem with that. I keep talking about Giannis. I'm not playing him this at 12-4. I don't care. It's just he needs to go for 70 to make it worth it. There's other guys that would go for 60 at 10K. I'm just not going to pay it.
Yep.
Let's see. Towns, AD. Any thoughts there? Price bump in AD. We're finally up from 91 to 98. Towns is at 97.
Gobert is back.
Gobert is back? Okay.
Yeah, he's back. Probably not going to go to Towns.
Yeah, no Towns then.
Davis, I don't know, man. Like,
are they going to get blown out to the Clippers? Are they that bad?
I mean, dude, they're getting.
I guess they already kind of did, right?
They are. I told you before the year, and you're like, no, they're gonna contend for like a playoff. Like, they're not. Like, they are closer
they got traded for so many guys.
They are closer to trading away Davis and Westbrook than they are to making the playoffs.
That's crazy.
I think they would trade Anthony Davis before they make the playoffs. There's no point in keeping Anthony Davis.
LeBron would definitely trade Anthony Davis before they make the playoffs. I agree with you.
There's no point in keeping him.
LeBron's going to trade Anthony Davis to the Pacers. He's going to get
Miles Turner,
Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, and Duarte or something like that, right? Like,
I'm hoping the Bulls call on Davis. We need a big.
What are they going to ship to LeBron?
Lonzo.
He's not even healthy.
I mean, he's getting there. And Patrick Williams.
Nah, he needs guys that can score around him. He said already, he needs shooters. He's gonna get Miles Turner. He's gonna get Buddy Hield and AD.
Lonzo's a shoot. Lonzo's shot ball.
Halliburton and Anthony Davis would be pretty fun to watch for the 10 games that Anthony Davis is healthy for. All right, Randall at 78. I like against Brooklyn.
Yep, he's been good.
I've been playing him a lot. And he hasn't been rostered. So, one of these days he'll get us 50. Let's see. Would you game theory Portis at all? Played 29 minutes in that game at 43 fantasy points.
Not at 68, no.
I think that price. Giannis didn't play and they still got blown out. Yep, Giannis didn't even play in that game and they still
no, dude, and that's why the price is what it is, because it's off the back of the algorithm spitting out like 36, 43 fantasy points. Like, I'm not getting to 6,800.
Okay. Jeremy Grant had a big night the other night. Now questionable, now probable.
He's good.
Charlotte. Bulls. We're not on that slate anymore, so it doesn't matter. Ben Simmons not on a minute.
Probably Mobley. Mobley's probably the next person I'd consider.
Yeah.
And even
I thought maybe John Collins would get a bump with Trey, but he hasn't. So
he's just started off the season so good.
Yeah. Marcus Morris has been good.
Marcus Morris has been good. Little upside at 6K, especially against the Lakers.
I hate Mobley though.
I mean, like, he's so talented. There's just so much talent on that team. Yeah. And why do we randomly take 18 shots?
I agree. I did like Isaiah Stewart the other day against OKC.
Big Stew's
foul trouble got there about 11 and 12.
And you've been talking about all year, like Boston's front court is just not the same.
I think that's why they started Grant Williams, honestly. But I mean, that's not going to deter me from playing Isaiah Stewart.
Nope.
Any other 5K guys? Jalen Smith, maybe. Doubled with Turner there.
With Turner back, yeah. Tournaments only. We saw that a couple games prior.
Yeah. Well, what happened there? Just
Rick Carlisle.
Take him out of the rotation of Carlisle, I guess.
Yeah, that's a Carlisle move.
Okay.
That's a Carlisle thing.
Kevin Love played 25 minutes against Clippers, 35 fantasy points. GPP play, Kevin Love.
Always a GPP play.
51, 28, 35 fantasy points the last 3 days for him.
Yeah, definitely a GPP play, and I think same could be said for. Well, it won't be GPP, but if there's no Steven Adams, Brandon Clark played 30 minutes last game against Boston. Spurs, I would probably go small with Clark against Hurdle because Clark's athletic. So
yeah. Let's see. Anybody else down here? Craig, you mentioned he only played 22 minutes in that game. That's your zero floor play.
Yep, that is your absolute zero floor. Never playing Torrey Craig again.
Torian Prince also zero floor play. 21 minutes.
Yep, also 0 play floor. Yeah, it was yeah. Got really nothing else, but definitely another zero.
Guy who won my tournament the other day played Obi Toppin.
Dude, so did you see what they did? And I'm interested if this is what they're going to do moving forward. They started Jericho Sims, which was out of the clouds because Hartenstein was so good the game prior.
Yep.
And then both Sims and Hartenstein got in foul trouble, so they went Randall Toppin at the 4 and the 5.
Yeah.
And like Obi Toppin should be playing more. So maybe that was just like them saying like, oh, we could do this more. Play Randall.
I'm just saying hat tip to the dude who won my contest playing him because nothing was leading up to that saying like this is how they that rotation.
True. And that guy sees the future. That's all we need to know. Find that guy's name out and we'll contact him for if what the next Powerball number is going to be.
Be good to know that before the $2 billion gets won.
Yeah, but like, hey, you know what? If we win a Powerball in the future, I'm not,
Sure. I guess if Steven Adams is out, Jake LaRavia played 25 minutes. He's 3,100.
Sure.
So what did Roddy? Did Roddy get any action in that at all? Our boy, 3,300. Nope, 4 minutes. So
LaRavia's been in the rotation kind of anyway.
So I'd throw a dart on LaRavia if Adams gets ruled out there.
Yeah, probably also weird because Aldama only played 18 minutes.
Yeah,
and he had been playing boatload of minutes, and then he only plays 18.
Yeah,
no foul trouble. So that's a little weird.
On the radar, Jake LaRavia, however you want to pronounce it. Center position, Jokic versus the Pacers at 11-6. I
know we haven't really gotten to Jokic a lot, I think, lately.
I think I've maybe played him once.
I feel like you're getting back to like old Jokic.
Yeah. The problem again is just that there's been so many guys that are like 8K that are giving you 50 that we don't need to spend 11-6 on Jokic. So
you're right. No, you're right. 100% correct.
Let's see here. Where's your next center?
Next center is I've been playing a lot of Sabonis. It was very disappointing because he had 38 fantasy points at half.
Yeah.
And that
does
nothing.
The matchup against Allen and Mobley bother you at all here?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we stay out of foul trouble, so maybe tournaments. Not going to play Vucevic.
Pirtle if there's no Adams?
Pirtle, no Adams. I'd go there. Dude, Jared Allen, 20 rebounds last game.
Well, again, like, can you pick the right Allen? I mean, he's been very good, but I feel like when we've been tricked by this before. It feels like. And next thing you know, he's like getting fouled or, he's just not doing anything. I like it. It's a great price. He's been good. Like, look at the numbers have been there for him, right? Now, again, granted, some of these games were without Garland, but since the Boston game on 10-28, 30, 35, 33, 38. So, and then 49, obviously. And Sacramento, I think, is a good spot for him. So, if you tournaments for Jared Allen's fine. Zubac revenge game at 66.
I already went nuts against him this year.
Yeah, I'm fine running that back there. Opening night, he went for 45 fantasy points against them. So that's fine. Sengun
He is like the most. I can never get to.
Yeah, I got him right on the showdown slate. That was about it. Sengun at 65. Got to be one of your favorites.
He's just a monster.
48.
I don't know what else. I don't know. Screaming from the rooftops like he's just a fantasy point man.
Yep. Claxton's been pretty good.
Claxton has been good. My problem is if there's no Chris Paul, I'm gonna jam Ayton in at 64. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean I know Rudy Gobert's back. I guess that's a little concerning. Claxton
gets either Hartenstein, Sims,
Yeah, that's true. And you're 100% correct. I was like, my brain I just had a brain fart thinking that there was still just Towns at center because just Towns, I mean, we saw what the Knicks did.
Right.
Also, Miles Turner's still 5,700 for some reason.
Yeah, you got to run him against Jokic. Could.
I mean,
could. I wish the Capella minutes would be stabilized. I don't know.
I know. He's a freak.
Plays one game, 35 minutes. He has 57 fantasy points, and then that's
He's a freak.
That's it. Let's see here.
You mentioned Big Stu, another great spot to go to.
Maybe
Marvin Bagley might be. Who?
Plumlee 51. He's been steady.
Yeah.
I would play Adams if he's healthy.
So same.
Would you play Koloko if he started again?
No. He started last game. He had the one game with the blocks.
Yep.
And then the rest of it's just been.
All right.
I guess it's Houston, but like no. I'm not doing this.
I got no other centers for you.
No, I don't either.
All right, let's build. Who's our? Where are we going for our core? We like Garland, right? We want to play.
Definitely Garland 69. Definitely Garland 69.
Garland at 69.
I went to the value. I just went to the value tier. See if we could like. I don't really remember who we were talking about.
We liked Wall at 5K.
We did like Wall, and we liked T-Man. But the Wall thing is interesting because Kennard wasn't there the first game, and then Wall wasn't there the second game, which is what makes Terrence Mann maybe less.
Yeah, I'm probably less in on
because I wasn't really thinking about it that he was missing somebody in each of those scenarios.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of great value unless guys are ruled out, right? Joe Harris was someone we liked.
Yeah, we like Joe Harris. I'll put in Joe Harris. I do like that. Joe Harris is fine. I'll put him at shooting guard at 42.
That felt like a pretty good value.
Yeah, I agree with you. Good spot against the Knicks.
Our first two was Garland.
You want to throw Hield in at small forward?
Absolutely. Okay. Best total on the board.
Yep. So we don't have a spend up play yet. We have
65 or below every.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where we're at the moment.
I mean, I think Morant might be the spend up 10-1 against the Spurs.
Joker, just for reference, would be 5,200 a player remaining.
Joker is a great play because it's a great game environment. Who's your favorite?
VanVleet 81.
Can you try VanVleet and Ja? And then you can put Garland in the util to get that late hammer.
With Garland, Harris, Hield, VanVleet, and Ja, it is 47.6 a player. So we would need to find some additional value.
I don't know if it's possible.
Somewhere to put in. I mean, we could probably find it. Let's see.
I mean, obviously the campaign thing is
correct.
Contingent, but we just don't have we just don't have the answers.
Yes, we didn't really find that true 3K value play.
Who is the fifth player we have? Morant, VanVleet, Harris, Garland.
We could knock Hield off and go and keep VanVleet and Morant. Harris
how do you feel about Ja?
Small forward.
Do we need a spend up? Do you feel like Ja's?
I mean, it is a great spot for a spend up. If we don't have if we use VanVleet, I guess, as our spend up, and then maybe
do we go back to Hield in that spot?
Well, I'm thinking if we do Booker, it's 51 a play.
But if we're gonna play Booker, we should just play campaign.
Booker.
Or do you think Booker is fine even with Chris Paul?
No, I think you could play them both. You want to just go? Do you want to build a lineup assuming no Paul?
No, because that's been against what we've been doing all year.
Okay.
Forced to leave. I know he left with the heel. Is there any news on Chris Paul? Was there anything that came out today? I don't think there was.
I don't think so either.
A heel. Yeah,
if we did Payne, Booker with VanVleet, Harris, and Garland, it's 58 a play. Just throwing it out there.
So the quote from Monty Harris, John. Yeah. It's a lot better than what we thought last night. He's going to have some more evaluations done, but if he's not right, we won't put him on the floor.
Right. So Garland. Okay, we're not going to play Booker with Paul anyways, but Garland, Booker, Harris, VanVleet was 54 a player.
And then campaign.
Yeah, campaign was then it was like 58 or something like that. All right, so throw healed back in there, 61. So Garland, healed, Harris, VanVleet, 61 a play. Let's see,
61 a play. Power forward. We like centers around that range. Yeah, I was going to say Claxton or Turner. Claxton, Turner, Sengun. Claxton, Turner, Sengun. The lowest own of the bunch will definitely be Claxton.
Okay.
That's how we want to approach it. I don't know.
I kind of want to roll Sengun up there. Give us
okay, let's roll Sengun.
Is there a good game total, Houston, Toronto? What has the better game total?
Houston, Toronto's 223.5, and that's just because Toronto plays so slow.
What's Brooklyn, New York?
Brooklyn, New York is the 223 as well.
What's the spread?
Houston is getting 9.5 or 9. Brooklyn is giving 2.5.
Okay, and what's our Turner situation?
That's the best total on the board. 235.5. Pacers getting 5.5.
Do you like Turner against Jokic?
I like 235.5. Denver 10th in pace, Indiana 5th, like 2 top 5 pace teams. Denver 19th in defensive rating this year. Not exactly like stalwart.
I just worry about Turner getting in foul trouble.
Sure. That's more so the worry. Yeah, the fouls have not been. 4-4-3-4, like definitely.
Now Jokic
definitely
is going to be
scary.
out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with Claxton then.
I'm okay with going Sengun. He plays, even if it's a blowout, they play their guys 30 minutes. It's not like he's not going to play. If you'd rather go Sengun, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Shot attempts to go Sengun's way, I guess. All right, I'll go there. That's fine. I called it out first. 6K basically for power forward and utility. Did we want to do Wall as a util here?
Yeah.
Okay. 64.50 for a power forward and a forward. We could go Michael Porter, 65.
Yeah, I think we should probably get exposure to the Denver side.
Okay.
And then 63.
So we need a power forward. We need a power forward for 64.
Power forward for 64 is probably.
You liked Mobley. 5,900.
It's probably Mobley in this tier. It's probably Mobley.
Okay. So that's what we got going on here. We got Garland, Heald, Harris, Mobley, Sengun, VanVleet, Michael Porter, John Wall, and util. Gives us $500 left over to play with. Of course, if we get injury news throughout the day, we're going to change that out, especially the Chris Paul news. Create some more value. Steven Adams news could create some more value. Conchar played 25 minutes in that game as well, by the way. I know you mentioned Aldama's minutes were down. So between Larivia and Conchar, they both played 25 minutes, and he was pretty cheap forward. So just throwing that out there for those paying attention now. James and I will be in the Discord and on Twitter. I'll be on the playbook. So, any questions, hit us up, and we will catch you guys later.